Mr. Ricardo Adams, Chairman of the Carnival Development Corporation Board, Mrs. Maxine Johnny, CEO of Geccu, Ms. Jada Ross, Ms. SVG 2022, Ms. Shannon John, Best Community Service Project for Ms. SVG 2022, sponsors, contestants, members of the media, chaperone, and specially invited guests, good morning again. My name is Evia Charles, and I'm the chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee. In 2022, our committee was tasked with the execution of a community service project as part of the Miss SVG pageant last year. These projects touched 8 communities across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What we observed is that the projects engendered a spirit of volunteerism to help build stronger communities, to motivate persons to work for the betterment of persons in those communities, to awaken the consciousness of Vincentians, and also to make the communities aware of various issues within and even outside. Our theme for last year's Geccu Community Service Project was Empower, Engender, Community Development. The projects touched on areas such as education, sports involvement, community beautification, health, and crime. This year, the contestants in this year's Miss SVG pageant would have spent the last few weeks and months working assiduously to prepare projects that would touch on a number of different areas, which we will get to in a short while. Our project this year will be held under the theme Creating Herstory. This year's theme not only reflects our trust towards women's involvement and empowerment, but it also raises light, or it highlights different economies as articulated in the global arena for development. We are encouraging all Vincentians, regardless of if you are in those particular communities that the contestants are from, to become involved directly or indirectly as it relates to helping in the execution of the activities or raising awareness to the different areas that the contestants will be doing their activities on. I take this time to extend a gratitude or a heartfelt gratitude to Geccu for the renewal of commitment in making this year's projects a success. And we will hear more from Geccu, but before we do, I would like to invite the chairman of the CDC board, Mr. Ricardo Adams, to offer a few words.
Chair of the Beauty Shows Committee of the CDC, Avia Charles. She always has to correct me. It's not Avia, it's Avia Charles. Mrs. Maxine Johnny, Acting CEO of Geccu. Ms. Jada Ross, Ms. SVG 2022. Ms. Shannon John, winner of the Community Service Project 2022. Sponsors, delegates and chaperones, members of the media, and to those following us online, good morning. It is always exciting for me to come up here and be part of anything that the Beauty Shows Committee is championing, because it is always an opportunity for me to learn how to pronounce new words. So last year it was Avia. This year it's creating herstory. So Avia is probably going to tell me it's her story, but I prefer to think of it as herstory. And again, it is a wonderful thing to see these young, intelligent ladies being able to go out into the community and champion what youth and intelligence and energy is all about by being involved in these community projects. It is also exciting for me to learn a lot from these, because this year it is apparent I'm going to learn about a lot of these economies some of them color-based economies, and some of them economies based on other aspects of where we want to go as a people. And so it is really exciting for me to be here this morning to hear about them. And last year, I got the opportunity to visit a couple of the activities that were happening, and to see the communities themselves becoming involved was really powerful. And I know there are some folks who, even after the competition side of it was done, there are some of the delegates from last year who actually continued doing their projects in the economies, in the communities. And so I hope that this year we'll have, again, an exciting range of activities associated with these community service projects. And I'm sure that Avia and her team will continue to work to ensure that those happen. I'm really grateful to Geccu for coming on board again this year, and recognizing the value of these community projects as being done by the delegates of the Miss SVG. So we're going to hear a lot from everyone else this morning, but I would just like to say again, thank you to Geccu, thank you to those of you who are joining us, thank you to those of you who are following us, and I just want to say, come out and support the young ladies in the communities as they go forward with creating Herstory. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. And very importantly, because this was my omission, these are two things that I should highlight. One, the continuance of some of the projects from last year and even the emergence of new ones. So I want to give recognition specifically to Miss Shannon John, who is also here. I know she would have done some work, especially, well, in her community of Vermont, not only during the December period, but even onward. She's still heavily involved in her community in Vermont. And also the emergence of a new project by some of the contestants from last year's Miss SVG pageant called Scholastic Lit, which is a tutoring program for young persons, and also the continuance of the Vinci Biz Hub, which is done by the first runner-up in Miss SVG pageant last year, Shadeen McLean. I also want to take this time because I know last year the projects would have touched on thousands of intentions were involved directly or indirectly. And we had quite a number of activities last year. And I know that for a fact our judges who graciously gave us their time in terms of attending majority of the activities. I must give recognition to our judges who are here today and to thank them for their presence and their commitment in this year's project as well. Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite Mrs. Maxine Johnny, Acting CEO of Geccu, our sponsor for this year's project, to deliver some remarks. Thank you, Avia. Do I get it right? Okay, so good morning, everyone. And I would like you to permit me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. It is with great enthusiasm that I stand here representing Geccu as the primary sponsor of this event. The objective of this segment of Miss SVG pageant dovetails several aspects of our social charter and our investment in the community. It is public knowledge that Geccu, being a good corporate citizen, relentlessly support different initiatives and projects that impact our communities positively and improve the quality of life of our members and ordinary citizens. Whether in education, sports, health, or culture, most of the support and contribution that we give at Geccu they're not publicized because we don't want a public spectrum when we give to our members and to the community. So you don't have the idea of the amount of contribution that we give to help improve communities and the quality of life of members and non-members, citizens of states and nations. So how did Geccu get here? In 2018, Geccu sponsored a Miss SVG contestant. I think that was Azani, right, Azani Lave, right. Although Miss Lave was not one of the top, did not attain one of the top position, she represented us very well. In 2019, on the advice of our marketing officer, instead of sponsoring a contestant, we decided to sponsor I think it was the empowerment campaign, it was called back then. And that year it was dubbed No Excuse for Child Sexual Abuse. And the intent was to bring awareness to this societal ill. And we were quite pleased with the results. So I think after that, COVID came 2020, and then 2021, there was a lull where pageantry was concerned. And in 2022, with the rebranding of this segment to Miss SVG Community Service Project, we were enthused to continue our partnership with the Beauty Show Committee. Surely, we were not disappointed, as this project was deemed a success in our opinion. The different community engagements that these contestants were engaged in, they are commendable. And I was informed, I hear Avia mention it, and then Donnelly, our marketing officer, told me that Miss John Community Project, it continues and still exists. So it shows, Avia, how this project has touched the life of these young ladies and allow them to continue that whole spirit of volunteerism and, we call cooperativism in the credit union movement. So, these projects represent the whole philosophy of, your sponsor, Geccu, because Geccu is about the enrichment of community, and we are very passionate about giving back and touching lives of our members and non-members alike. So on this note, I give a solid commendation to your committee, which is headed by you for this initiative. So after the climax of the Miss SVG contest in 2022, we were approached by three of the young ladies, as you mentioned. They collaborated, and of course, they were still very motivated and energized from that activity from the project. And we assisted them with the project that we just, yes, so we assisted them. We give them financial contribution to help offset the cost of that tutoring, because that's Geccu, that's where we are. Once it's something that is going to be beneficial to the community, we will play our part to ensure that it is impactful and it is successful. So the success of the 2022 campaign spurred our interest in continuing our partnership. So the sponsorship for each contestant to execute the project for 2023 was increased about 50% annually to about 1,500. I know that is a small contribution to the magnitude of projects that the contestant will be undertaken. But I think the whole idea is to promote volunteerism. I think your requirement, say at least 50. So 9 of you, 9 by 50, that's 450 persons we know from different communities are going to be involved in this project, at least 450. And that is what credit unions are about. We promote volunteerism, at least that is how we strive and go through volunteerism. One of your judges, Sandra Davis, is there, and she is a champion where that is concerned. So I know that you'll be fairly judged, and Mr. Lennox Bowman is there, the former CEO. You'll be fairly judged because these are community-driven people, part of the whole cooperative sector, which Geccu is part of. So to you, the contestant, this contribution that we are making to you empowers you to give back to your communities and promote the spirit of volunteerism to help enrich your community. This year project aims to highlight and bring awareness to the different economies. So to have a strong project that fulfills the objective of the requirements of the committee, it requires good planning, excellent teamwork, discipline, dedication and commitment, hard work,
leadership and always maintain that positive energy. For this segment of the pageant, I know you have your title sponsor, but just be reminded that you're representing Geccu. Geccu is the sponsor for this segment. We are a people-centric organization, and our philosophy is grounded on people helping people, education and support for the community. Just to name a few, we do have more principles that we work with. So all the best to all of you and to the Beauty Show Committee. Congratulations again, and we wish you much success. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Johnny and Geccu. At this time, I'd like to recognize two very special invited guests with us. Our very own permanent secretary, Dr. Risa Noel McBarnett. She has always been supportive and continues to be supportive of all of the activities along with the minister. Thank you very much, PS, for being here. And also the permanent secretary for Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs and Youth, Mrs. Marissa Finchberg. Welcome. Mrs. Marissa Finchberg has some remarks for us, but before we get to her, we will take some remarks from Ms. Jada Ross, Ms. SVG 2022. And first runner can be Ms. Caribbean Culture.
This never gets easier, honestly. Good morning, everyone. I would also like to especially acknowledge Mrs. Marissa Finchberg, who just arrived, the PS for Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs and Youth, Mrs. Risa McBarnett, the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Mr. Ricardo Adams, Chairman of the CBC Board, Ms. Avia Charles, Chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee, Mrs. Maxine Johnny, the CEO of Geccu, myself, hi, Ms. Shannon John, who I've had the pleasure of not only being a friend with, but a pageant sister and the winner of the Community Service Project last year, of which she did a fantastic job. Members of the media, whether you're tuning in at home or in the diaspora, my esteemed audience, good morning. It is with great pleasure that I address you this morning as not only Miss SVG 2022, but as Avia mentioned, Miss Caribbean Culture Queen 2023's first runner-up. Community service projects of this magnitude require a great deal of hard work, and these 9 young women who are about to embark on yet another milestone of their life-changing journey should be widely commended and recognized. I would like to take this time to thank the Beauty Shows Committee and the Carnival Development Corporation for playing integral roles in this venture thus far, and to the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union for this generous donation granted to making this project possible yet again. The week of the community service project execution will be difficult in some instances. Speaking from an experience standpoint, I do remember not wanting to go on beyond day 3 as a result of fatigue, but the ability to persevere in times of strain granted me extra backbone and helped to mold me into the person that I am today. These projects will touch hearts, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the contestants themselves. I encourage each and every one of you, whether you're in my presence or tuning in over the media, to abundantly support these young women through their week of execution and beyond, as the road to Miss SVG 2023 is steadfastly approaching. And it is my hope that ventures like this would not only empower her, like the journey to accomplishing 1,000 acts of kindness and beyond did, but that these young women will create history, or better yet, her story. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ross. And we will now hear from Ms. Shannon John, aka Kelly.
Better y'all than me though. Poor. Thank you, AVR. Sorry, God. Avia. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to adapt the protocol that has already been established. Before I begin, I would like to first thank the Beauty Shows Committee for having me here this morning. Being a part of the first set of contestants to partake in the community-based project last year and also achieving first place in said project was truly an honor. The topic for my project, for those of you who may not remember, was promoting safety and reducing crime within my community of Vermont under the mantra, promoting safety and reducing crime one step at a time, doing it right, Vermont Unite. When I randomly chose this topic, I was elated that I will now have the opportunity to contribute to changing the negative stigmas that surrounded my community. In order to execute this project, I made sure to strategically lay out my order of activities that promoted togetherness in such a way that I got as much attendance as possible from my fellow community members. Some key activities included a self-defense course, a CPR program, and even the introduction of a neighborhood watch website that is still being used today by many of the community members and can be viewed at vermontunitesvg.com. I did not only want to introduce activities that would only exist for 1 week. I wanted to leave a mark and introduce something that would run continuously. Even when I was no longer a contestant, and that is one piece of advice I would love to give to you 9 beautiful contestants. When you sit with your team and you are drafting your activities, and also in the process of executing your project, do not only do it for the sake of only winning the competition. Yes, everybody wants to win. Yes, you want to make sure you follow your guidelines. And yes, you want to make sure that your community members support you. But most of all, you want to make sure you are doing this project from your heart. Introduce something that would benefit your community and members years down the line, not for just the week that you are doing the activities. Each and every single one of you should be able to be remembered for the impact you created on all members of your community through this project. I fixed a very old welcome sign in my community. And to this day, I am very proud to say yes. I do that somehow. I also introduced a football team known as Vermont FC to help promote discipline to the young men and women in my community. And that same said football team just recently partake in the South Leeward Inter-Village football competition. And though we did not make it to the finals, I was so proud that my team had won each and every single game up to the semifinals. Despite the loss, these young men and women continue to take pride in something that was solely introduced as part of a small community project. I want to take this time to once again say thank you to my sponsor, Geccu, and also Geccu for making this achievement possible. In closing, I would want to wish you ladies the best of luck in the rest of your journey to the crown and also your projects. There will be challenges, but you have to remain focused. Be one with your topics, take as much positive advice and feedback you can possibly get, and also ask a lot of questions. Do not wait until the last minute to organize your plans. And once again, do everything from your heart. Once you do that with anything you try and accomplish in life, you're already a winner. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. And I am very happy to say that Shannon John, aka Kelly, will be one of our judges in this year's Miss Community Service. No, I have some, in addition to Geccu being our sponsor, which is why we're here today, we do have some additional news, but I would like to invite Mrs. Mercer Finchbert, the Permanent Secretary for Social Development, Family, Gender Affairs and Youth, to deliver her remarks and share that news with you.
Good morning to the head table. Good morning to those in the room, those online, and our media. Please permit me to adopt the existing protocol that has already been established. And thank you so much, Avia, for the opportunity to be here today on such an occasion. I would not bore you by repeating everything that was already well stated when it comes to what is anticipated for a perfect community project that promotes volunteerism, when it comes to the expectations of entering a pageant. I would not talk to you about the great institution called Geccu. I am simply here to say to you that community development, women's empowerment, social assistance for families that are in need, and youth development are key pillars of our ministry, of the government, and of our people. And that's the ministry of which I represent. And because of that, this is a clear example of showing effective collaboration. Public-private partnerships, we are seeing both Geccu, we are seeing a state entity, we are seeing statutory bodies, and we are seeing community residents. So this is a perfect picture painted of how we can bring people together from all walks of life to be able to achieve one goal: community development and empowerment of young people and women. Based on that, I want to be able to talk for a few moments on the requirements of this community project, as community development is one of our key pillars in the ministry. Requirement number one for your project talks about volunteers that are needed to work with you from your community. And you may be wondering, oh my God, how am I going to get to that point? What if I don't need 50? What would happen to me? You may start panicking. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, through this ministry, locally called welfare, social development, whatever it is, but it boils down to social development of our people, is happy and ready to announce on behalf of our minister, Dr. Orlando Brewster, that our YES trainees of the YES program, everybody knows what the YES program is, we will be officially partnering by providing YES trainees to volunteer to support the requirement number one on your community project. All communities where the participants are coming from, we will collaborate and source all the YES trainees that are already receiving their stipend so that they will be able to volunteer to work with each participant on this project, which means you are able to achieve requirement number one on the project, and we are also to be able to promote community volunteerism amongst our youth. So everybody getting a piece of the pie, and as a country, because it is part of enabling human and social development, which is our second goal of the National Development Plan, where we are to build community empowerment, we are to build youth enhancement, and we are to protect our people. We are to also empower our women, so we are killing multiple birds with the same stone at this point. So, as it is said, we will be working through our YES trainees, and not only are we willing to commit to the next 2 weeks or so that are pertaining to this particular project, but we are willing to be able to sustain it over time, where it is not just about the pageant period, but how could we vertically and horizontally expand the individual projects. It doesn't matter who win. How could we expand it as a component of the YES program, that it is replicated across all our districts in country? So this is something that next year, please God, we could be able to embark on, but we are basically piloting through this 2-week thereabout period where we would work during the project campaign period in terms of continuously implementing it, because the winner of last year did say that it's not about winning your community project segment. It is about sustainability. So now, rather than the sacrifices you alone made with your team, it will now be about how can the ministry work with YES volunteers and work with you as participants to continue what you did so well over a 2-week or so period, to make sure that not only it happens in your individual communities, but other communities. We also saw, based on the number of participants, the majority are coming from on the leeward end of the island, as opposed to the windward end of the island, or opposed to the Grenadines. So how could we carry it to the windward end? How could we carry it over time to the Grenadines? So these are ways in which we can expand projects of this nature. This is great news because it helps us to empower our youth using the existing design that was built and designed by you. So, in closing, we stand ready to work with you to ensure that your individual goal is met, but also the national goal of the government is met, which is to enable human and social development in our people. I thank you.
Thank you very much, PS. I know when you were making your announcement, I saw a few of the contestants smiling and the fact that they'll be having support. Thank you very much. Who said that, Jada?
Yes. Because nobody heard. I said it's luxury.
All right, so now it is time to hear from our contestants as it relates to the areas for this year, as I said earlier, which will focus on the different economies. And I know typically we'll hear about the green economy, the blue economy, but we do have some interesting ones. And the first person that will be sharing is Miss Letitia Barber, Miss Grenadine House, which will be speaking on the inspiration economy.
Good morning, everyone. I am your contestant number 1, Letitia Barber, sponsored by Grenadine House. I must first thank Geccu for this incredible opportunity where I will be able to create a change in my community, Barley. I am honored to have the theme, the inspiration economy, for my community service project, which will run from 4th September to 9th September under the name Project Impact, Inspiring More Potential, Igniting Transformation. As many of you may know, the inspiration economy is a new way of thinking about the value of ideas and the power of human potential. It is a model that recognizes that the most valuable resource we have is each other, and that by coming together and sharing our ideas, skills, and experiences, we can create a brighter future for ourselves and our communities. This project aims to harness the power of the inspiration economy to make a positive impact in my community. I believe that by connecting people with one another and providing them with the resources they need to turn their ideas into reality, we can create a more vibrant, resilient, and supportive community. This project is about empowering individuals to make a difference and fostering a culture of collaboration, innovation, and creativity. My project will focus on three main areas, education, entrepreneurship, community service, and spirit. We will work with local schools and community organizations to provide mentorship and training to young people, helping them to develop the skills that they need to succeed in the 21st century economy. The project will commence with a meet and greet where I will get to interact with community members and provide an insight about the activities to follow in the week. The second activity will be the drawing of murals at the Barley Government School by local artists, and I will unveil the murals at the school's reopening. For me, this is important not to just beautify the environment, but to give the students a stimulating environment where they will be inspired to attend and inspired to learn. Followed after the unveiling, there will be a painting event for kids at the said school. My third activity is inspired by recognition of the fact that our youth need guidance, they need mentors. Therefore, it is important that we share certain fundamentals about job applications, scholarship applications, soft skills, life skills, and the importance of networking. A wide range of professionals will join us for this program, including Mrs. Isola Giddens. Following, there will be a training session conducted where residents will get the opportunity to better their skills, which can in turn lead to self-employment. The fifth activity will be the judging of the best bagayard competition, where residents of Barley will have the opportunity to win prizes fostering cleanliness and innovation in their gardens. Such activity will help to build our neighborhood pride and ownership. Littering yards, broken windows, dirty walls, and barren street lights not only make a bad first impression, those attributes also decrease residents' pride and sense of community. We will work to inspire community pride. The final activity will be the hosting of the Impact Fun Day event, where local talents will be showcased through different activities with persons such as physical education teacher Kashaka Bowles and Chester Morgan, my bad. Importantly, I have a special treat in store for you, as you cannot come to Barley with me unless there is a demonstration on the preparation of blackfish by local fishermen. I am excited about the impact that this project can contribute to my community. However, I cannot do it alone. I need your support, your ideas, and your energy to make this project a success. Whether you are a student, a business owner, a community leader, or someone who cares about the future of our community, I invite you to join us in this effort. Together, we can create a community that is not just surviving, but thriving. Together, we can build a brighter future for ourselves and our community. Together, we can inspire. Your support will be gratefully accepted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Baba. So Barley is very much a number of activities are in store for Barley, and interestingly, we actually have two contestants from Barley this year. So I know there'll be a spike in the terms of community activities, but we'll hear more from the second contestant in a while. We would go to Ms. Metrocent, General Insurance, Mrs. Denicia Boswain, who would speak on the Black economy. And quite fittingly attired too.
Greetings, everyone. A special thanks to Geccu for giving me this opportunity to highlight some of the important issues in my community. I am Denicia Boswin, contestant number 2, Miss Metrocint General Insurance Company Limited. In this year's Miss SVG pageant, I was given the task to advocate against the Black economy for my community service project. The Black economy simply refers to all economic activity in a given economy that takes place outside of or in violation of generally accepted laws and social norms. Do you remember Kevin George left motionless with stab wounds about his body? Or Gregory Abraham left helpless with gunshot wounds about his body? The incidence of gun violence makes me wonder about the purchase and sale of weapons and illegal firearms and eliminating this growing threat to society. It would not be okay for me to continue my speech without having a moment of silence for the victims of gun violence. As a result of the prevalence of violence, many people, particularly women, are afraid to be outside in the early hours of the morning or late at night. This issue has not only cost us many lives, but also caused the closure of many small businesses. These illegal activities not only include the purchase and sale of illegal firearms and weapons, which result in gang and gun violence, robbery, and more, but the sale of illegal drugs, restricted medication, and undocumented migrant workers. It will sadden my heart if I sit idly and witness the value of my community decline as a result of negative stigma and/or activity. Therefore, I present to you Crime Busters, a project which aims to educate individuals about the effects of illegal activities in our community and ensure a safe space for everyone. The primary purpose of this initiative is specifically to educate and encourage preventative measures in the form of 6 events and ensure increased advocacy against illegal activity. These activities will take place from the 9th to the 15th of September 2023. The first activity would be to host an anti-crime fun day. I would give an introduction to the project, outline the objectives, and briefly share the concept of the weekly activities. This activity would allow family members of all ages to come out. The second activity will be the hosting of a crime torch relay, which seeks to use sports to engage athletes and other community members in the battle against illegal economic activity. On day 3, there would be a community talk. This would be facilitated by Yolande London, who would discuss the consequences of crime and violence and assist locals in breaking the cycle of crime. Persons in the community would share their experience of what it was like to be involved in criminal or illegal activities and being in prison. There will be a school awareness session on day 4 at the Stubbs Government School. This session would include activities and a guest speaker to equip students with the appropriate skills to resist substance abuse, violence, and gangs. Followed with a visit to the prison, where students of the Sinclair Dakin Secondary School will get to see and hear firsthand how prisoners were involved in the Black economy activities that led to their conviction. Activity 5 will be a school awareness session conducted by the Financial Intelligence Unit, where students would learn about opening a bank account, identifying counterfeit Eastern Caribbean currency, the issue of fraud, and more. Finally, an anti-crime public speaking will be organized where the youths can voice their opinion on the different aspects of the Black economy. Now, my fellow citizen, I heartily welcome you to join me as we transform the Diamond Estate into an oasis of safety for both ourselves and others who wish to enter and experience all that Diamond has to offer. Do not be a victim, be aware, be proactive.
Thank you very much, Denicia. And so far, I can tell that the areas of focus will not only the contestants will be educated, but also the persons who are directly involved in the activities. So I commend all of you for your activities thus far. Ms. Deanne Fairbairn, which is Ms. Clifford, will now speak on the orange economy. And I'm not sure if you realize by now, but all of the contestants are attired in the colors or that they will be representing. Welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to extend gratitude to Geccu for sponsoring and making it possible for this amazing project. To all those who partnered with me, thank you. I am Deanna Fairbairn, contestant number 3, Miss Clifford. As a contestant in this year's Miss Herstory pageant, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to showcase the orange economy, which is better known as the creative economy. Now, when you speak about creativity, you're speaking Deanna's language. The orange economy, or the creative economy, includes those activities based on creativity, individual talent, and skill, and activities which have the potential to create jobs and wealth through the utilization of intellectual property. Therefore, I am thrilled to embark on a community service project that will help to enhance lives and livelihoods using creative expressions. My resource person is Hatim Farrell, and the title and theme of my project is the Orange Village. Creativity for all of it. The reason for this theme is that Lomans Leeward is home to so many known and unknown creatives. We are home to the La Gracia dance group, songwriter and singer Aishata De Silva, and so many more. Our village will be in full swing from Monday 28th August to Sunday 3rd September 2023. The first activity would be a fun and interactive session, which is a sip and paint, where the residents and I will discuss the future plans for the upcoming week and more long-term plans. Discuss how we can aid the community and develop the creative industry. The second activity would be a creative session with facilitators from within the arts such as Tequila Ross and Fashion by HFC. The facilitators will present interactive sessions to children and adults in the community and surrounding areas. This will aid the knowledge of some artistic and/or technological areas. This activity will also act as a talent identification program so that persons who may be gifted in a particular field can further hone their artistic abilities beyond the day's session. Importantly, I thought that it would be most appropriate for the third activity to be a mural painting exercise and a community line. Residents from the Lomans and surrounding areas will come together to creatively and visually present important messages for the community at a strategic point. This design will be done by Tristan Williams, and we will collaborate on this project. As the momentum builds, my fifth activity will be a charity festival on Thursday. Within this activity, we will have live entertainment from a few local artists and also choreographed dances from the local dance group, La Gracia. The team will also utilize this time to distribute goodie bags to students returning to school. Then I invite you to join me for the inaugural Food and Wine Festival in Lomans Leeward. Locals of the community and surrounding areas will have the opportunity to showcase and sell locally made wines and recipes that feature lots of Vincentian produce. Of course, we encourage creative recipes, creative displays, and creative energies. On Saturday, I will host Vinci Got Talent. Persons who auditioned and performed for this activity would be selected to be judged and win prizes. First place, second place, and third place would be announced and cash funds would be provided. The final activity will be a Vinci movie night on the greens, where residents will have the opportunity to come out as a family to recognize the immense talent in this arena. The intention is to showcase movies produced by local filmmakers. The hope is to inspire the next generation of film producers from Lomans and surrounding areas. Also to ensure that unique Vincentian storyline are shared. I hope that I was able to move a few creative hearts this morning. It is time to reside in the Orange Village. Join me as I bring alive our creative expressions, our talents, and our skills. Let's show the world that we have talents, and with the right steps, we can be great and do wondrous things.
All right, Diana, I noted your call to reside in the Orange Village. You have space for all of us? Okay. All right, unfortunately, contestant number 4, Miss Arena Foy, is not able to be with us today due to travel arrangements. So we will move to contestant number 5, Miss Trina Hooper, all the way from Chateau-Belair with the Green Economy.
I wish to extend warm greetings to everyone this morning. I am Trina Hooper, contestant number 5 in this year's Miss SVG pageant, proudly representing the National Lotteries Authority. I am indeed elated to have been given the opportunity to speak on this particular platform in order to educate and change lives in a meaningful way. I must express gratitude to Geccu for sponsoring the community service project. This initiative is a beneficial one that has been added as a part of the Miss SVG Empowerment Campaign. The theme this year is creating Herstory, of which I am truly honored to be speaking on the green economy. My project name is Blissfully Green, Green Thumbs for Green Zones. This project will be facilitated by myself and my resource managers, Ms. Enka Peters, Kendra Homer, and the rest of my team. North Leeward is an agricultural community. Thus, this will be a great opportunity to foster and educate my North Leeward people about organic farming and to advertise the importance of utilizing land within the community to construct community and backyard gardens, which can contribute to household food security by providing direct access to food that can be harvested, prepared, and fed to family members often on a daily basis. This will all promote a healthy lifestyle. In this regard, my project will highlight Eat What You Grow as an initiative, which is something that we as Vincentians requires promotions in our lives. My project will seek to create a sustainable food system that can nourish, sustain the environmental, economic, and social well-being of the people without damaging or depleting our natural resources in North Leeward. One community garden will be constructed in Rosebank, backyard gardens within Trumaka, and or each community within North Leeward, construction of a compost heap, and backyard gardens at 2 schools within each communities, respectively. The execution of my week of activities will be from September 4th to September 9th. My proposed activities are as follows. Day 1, selection of land area in the community of Rosebank and homes in the community of Trumaka. The selection and identification of the type of crops to be planted for the gardens will also be done. Introduction of composting and the 3 R's, reuse, reduce, and recycle, in the control of waste to community members and students from selected schools. This will be done as a presentation within the schools of Rosal Government, Trumaka Primary, and the Trumaka Ontario Secondary School, and at the Rosebank Community Centre. Guidance and mentorship will be sorted from the Richmond Vale Academy, where the community and the students can learn the techniques that are involved in the practice of composting, construction of the gardens, utilizing organic manure as fertilizer for the community and backyard gardens, as it is healthier and it's also a cheaper way for food security and the sustainability of the green economy. Day 2 to 4 will see the construction of different areas of the community and backyard gardens, such as land clearing, construction of furrows, selection of containers for persons that lack land space, planting of different varieties of vegetable crops in Rosebank and Trumaka. Each member of the community will be responsible for the upkeep and the security of this garden. After all, we must bear the fruits of our labor. In order to promote a healthy eating among our children, eating what is grown must be highlighted and promoted through agriculture in our primary and secondary schools. This will be done by construction of a backyard garden to complement the school feeding program, where balanced meals with healthy food can be readily available to the children. The construction of a compost area where food peelings, such as fruits, ground provisions, etc., will be disposed of in the compost area to be decomposed and used for fertilizers within the school backyard garden. There will also be a fruit tree planting exercise at the Rosa Government School, Trumaka Ontario Secondary, and the Pettit Border Secondary School. The students will be responsible for the upkeeping of the trees. When trees are planted, it makes a difference to a school and the wider community, where green spaces are provided, which aids in the improvement of physical and mental health. These trees will also provide food for our students, the community, but most importantly, trees clean the air that we breathe. Day 5, Recycling Day. This activity will take place in the primary schools, Rosa Government, Trumaka Primary, just to name a few. Using many activities such as collection of items to be recycled, sorting of items to be recycled, and turning old and used items into new products. Day 6, our Market Day. This is where the people of North Leeward will come together to display and sell vegetable produce from the community and the backyard gardens. It will also see the displaying and the selling of the recycled products from the schools. The Market Day is not limited to persons who are going to be a part of the community and backyard gardens, but to our everyday farmers of North Leeward. We all have to ensure that we show love to our community by encouraging them to become more sustainable as we take strides in the green economy. How can we strive as a people if we do not better our environment? We are only as strong as our weakest link. I implore the people of North Leeward to ensure that our natural assets continue to provide the resources and environmental services for our continued well-being as we strive to build a better, healthier, and self-sufficient North Leeward.
Thank you, and I'll borrow a word from what I just heard someone said. Somebody said wonderful, and that goes to all of the projects. So Trina, I'm putting in a bid in our request because I noted you'll be doing some gardening, so I can come to North Leeward and get a bag of vegetables when you're done. Thank you very much. All right, we're moving along to Miss Flo. Nia Laborde, Naya, the golden economy.
Good morning. I am Nyla Board. Contestant number 6, proudly representing Flo. Please permit me to adapt the protocol which has already been established. It gives me great pleasure to welcome everyone here today as I take on the challenge of engaging and empowering every resident of Sign Hill and surrounding communities to be the voice of change concerning the golden economy. The golden economy, sometimes referred to as the sunshine economy, aims to combat the negative impacts that the brown economy is having, not only on my community, but also the rest of the country and the entire world. In a brown economy, activities harm the environment, particularly the usage of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, which are the primary forces driving economic growth in some countries.
However, we must become more mindful of our future and the impacts of careless use of traditional energy sources. Therefore, this project intends to address the effects of the brown economy and inform my neighborhood about the various renewable energy sources and efficient energy saving methods to reduce their energy costs. Through the past years, it has been very challenging for members of my community as it relates to their energy bills and the constant fluctuation of the fuel surcharge. I have heard the cries and the many complaints of my neighbors, single mothers, friends, and family members. I have seen where other countries are moving ahead and away from fossil fuels to clean and renewable energy sources. Therefore, when the opportunity arose for me to use my platform as a contestant in the Miss SVG 2023 pageant to become the voice of businesses, entrepreneurs, farmers, suppliers, and consumers, the voice of my community, I had to make every effort to bring all my energies and talents to the fore to advocate on these issues. My project is titled Renugen, the power of nature. Because my generation must try to switch to more renewable forms of energy. This project will run from the 3rd of September to September 9 and will flow as follows. Sunday, 3rd September 2023. There will be a meet and greet neighborhood stroll where I will distribute flyers and t-shirts highlighting the activities to residents of the community. Then, on Monday, 4th of September 2023, it is my intention to host a Renugen rally where I would invite guest speakers and musical artists to speak and perform for members of the community. The hope is that residents become more aware of more environmentally friendly energy options. As my project continues, I will erect a billboard depicting energy-saving tips on Tuesday, 5th of September 2023. For me, this will be a constant reminder of the important practices that we must adopt, which then paves the way for Wednesday and Thursday school visits to numerous schools within my community to educate and inform students and teachers about renewable energy and energy-saving tips. As the week winds down, I guarantee that I will keep you informed through my social media handles and press releases. Finally, the main event will be the Renugen Expo and Fun Day, where corporate entities will be encouraged to set up stalls, as this will be a way to showcase and educate how renewable energy is the future. I have sought Ms. Ikamola Labode, an expert in the field of science, to be my resource person, and I express my immense gratitude to her. Also, I would like to express my gratitude to the many business houses who have helped to make this project possible and for their invaluable support in this initiative, as well as the management and staff of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Electricity Services, the management and staff of OSV, Solar Solar, the Freighters SG and Co Limited, and Mr. Solomon Tide, the Artist Dose Up and the Justice Camp, the Sign Hill Steel Orchestra, the teachers and students of the Sign Hill Government School, the Dorsetshire Hill Government School, the C.W. Prescott Primary School, the Beauty Shows Committee, Geccu, and my sponsor Flo. All the people on my team and my community who will work together for the success of this important initiative. Together, let's renew for a brighter future.
I know we said majority of the contestants are from the leeward side of the island, but in case you didn't realize, there's one from Sign Hill. And I noted the involvement of Just Bus as well. All right, our next contestant is Miss Samisha Millington, Miss Korea's Ace Hardware, the Silver Economy.
The silver economy. Strategies to face new challenges relating to an aging population. Youth is a gift of nature but age is a work of art. A pleasant morning to those watching on live and our invited guests. I'm honored to introduce to you Silver Rocks. Presenting to you is Sinisha Millington, Miss Careers Ace Hardware. You're lucky number 7. I would like to thank the Beauty Shows Committee and the #1 credit union in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, Geccu, for affording me this opportunity to not only speak but act on such a worthy topic, the silver economy. As persons age, they undergo both physical and psychological changes. These changes often make them feel marginalized and forgotten, especially in our fast-changing technological world. The purpose of my community project is to remind everyone that silver is inevitable, but it is beautiful. To encourage the elderly to live their best life no matter their age, to be happy, healthy, and to stay active, to teach our youth how to care and support for the elderly, also to sensitize the caregivers. This includes the social services. We need to have patience, empathy, love while we care for the elderly, as one day, if we are so lucky, we would be the silver ones. I would like you to take a moment and reflect. When was the last time you visited your grandmother or called your grandfather besides on his birthday or for Christmas? When was the last time you visited an elderly person in your community? Remember, they are our country's pillar, the core, our society, the nation builders. We need to do unto others as we would like to have them do unto us. So, with the help of my resource persons, Miss Albina Jack and Heather Marshall, let's get rocking with my week of activities. From the 28th of August to the 3rd of September, we shall be starting off at the Kittels Police Station, our opening ceremony titled Uncovering Rocks. From 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., you shall expect speeches from the Ministry of National Mobilization, Social Development, the Family, Gender Affairs, Youth, Housing and Informal Settlement, National Insurance Services, and other specially invited guests. The Tuesday, we shall be having home visits and a home solution improvement day. And this is our opportunity to lend a listening ear, to share the stories and the words of encouragement from our silvers to our younger generation. We will also be donating home improvement products courtesy of Careers Ace Hardware. On the Wednesday, we will be having an archery and dance aerobic classes called Training Rocks at the Careers Ace Hardware Pembroke location from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., which will be done by SVG Archery Association and D's Fitness. On the Thursday is our health fair titled Testing Rocks at the Clare Valley Clinic from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You shall expect a speech from a professional nutritionist and free blood sugar and blood pressure testing with distribution of healthy snacks and guides for a healthier diet, plus a special raffle. The Friday, I want you to come out from 5 p.m. until and rock your key for our night of karaoke and fun games at the Desire Club located in Kittels. We would be having the chance to play traditional games such as bingo, domino, cards, checkers, and more, with fun prizes to be won. On Saturday, I would be tapping into my inner tour guide, and we will be kayaking from the Bukamet Bay Beach to the Biohub Bay. For this activity, registration will be open from the 28th of August. And as your lucky number 7, I do not think my week would be completed without a 7th day of activities. So we shall be uplifting rocks at our church day, which will be hosted at the Chauncey Methodist Church from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. After which we would visit the shut-ins with donations. Now let me invite you, my people from Chauncey and surrounding areas. Let's get educated, let's have some fun, and let's show them that silver rocks. With that being said, I leave you with this quote from Abraham Lincoln. In the end, it is not your years in your life that counts, but the life in your years. So do not be blinded by the silver, but focus on the silver lining.
I feel like I do not wish to be in the judge's position right now, but I think on a macro scale, what is important is the impact that these projects are going to have on the communities. And we're not done yet, but I must say again, commendations to all of you contestants in this year's pageant. And what is impressive is that even though Geccu is our sponsor for this pageant, what we've heard today and what we will continue to hear, I'm sure, is the involvement of the many other businesses in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that are being involved. So thank you very much. We will now move to Ms. Tara Richardson. Remember, I said earlier we have 2 contestants from Barley. This is the second one. She's sponsored by a new sponsor, GCI Limited, and she is the White Economy.
Is this fine? Yes, it's fine. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. Imagine a world where you were given the opportunity to enhance your smile at an early age. Smile bright. Each child deserves a bright smile. This is a theme for my community project, where I would make that world possible for the students at the primary schools within Barley. I am elated to have selected the White Economy for this year's Geccu Community Service Project. The White Economy includes all sectors that involve the production, research, and marketing of health-related goods and services. In a statement made by the World Health Organization, dental caries, also known as tooth decay or dental cavities, is the most common issue worldwide among young children. Severe dental caries affect general health and often cause pain and infection, which may result in tooth extraction. Therefore, in an effort to combat this issue, awareness and early dental examinations serve well in preventing cavities and tooth decay. This project would also give children, parents, teachers the opportunity to gain exposure to the dental office and procedures, which will minimize any anxiety or discomfort during future dental appointments. Given the opportunity to host a week of activities within my community of Barley, firstly brings the much needed dental awareness to a fraction of persons. This project serves to reduce the possibility of children acquiring a lifetime of dental problems by encouraging early and regular dental checkups. In essence, strong public support is needed to help prevent and allow treatment strategies to be built. To help lessen the harmful effects of dental neglect among young children, my goal for Smile Bright involves including families, promoting healthy eating habits, spreading awareness about the value of good dental practices, and mandating the importance of regular oral health examinations. Smile Bright activities are to be executed within the week of September 4, 2023, and the events to be held are as follows. Using PowerPoint, the Day 1 introductory session includes a kid-friendly animated film which would be educational in nature and encourage children to practice good dental care. The second day's arts and craft lesson would focus on the value of brushing and flossing, and on day 3, I plan to conduct a visual lesson utilizing Tara Richardson's Tutti as a prop to show the students how to properly take care of their teeth, while simultaneously engaging them in an interactive activity. For day 4, a representative of All Smiles Dental Center will give a brief presentation to all parents and teachers, and this will also be our Fruits Day. There will be a Curious George movie session on day 5, which rivets the message of the importance of brushing our teeth, with an interactive session afterwards. Naturally, on the final day, my team and I will be sure to deliver dental hygiene goodie bags with toothbrushes, floss, and pamphlets. This project is geared towards young children because it's crucial to instill good dental habits at an early age when they can be used consistently. By stressing the value of dental care, it will be children's teeth. By stressing the value of dental care, it will be possible to reduce the future cost of medication and any oral health-related expenses. Lastly, children's teeth are highly susceptible to tooth decay. Therefore, we encourage early and regular pediatric dental care, which can help prevent tooth and gum decay. Detecting cavities in young children's teeth is absolutely critical, as a lack of care could lead to even more severe health issues in the future. Dental visits that begin early in a child's life increase our chances of detecting any developing dental problems early on. I wish to thank Geccu for giving me this opportunity, along with the staff of All Smiles Dental Center, Value Pack, and the members of JCI St. Vincent. Reminder, smile bright. Each child deserves a bright smile.
The tutti?
Yes, it's
Okay, so for those of you in Barry, look out for Tara and Tutti. Tutti, thank you very much. All right, so we move to our final presentation for this morning. Ms. Roisha Telemak, Ms. In Transit Exports Limited, the Purple Economy.
Pleasant day to everyone, whether you are sitting before me or following on the live. I am Miss In Transit Exports, Roisha Telemak, your contestant number 9 in this year's Miss SVG pageant. I was given the honor of receiving the Purple Economy, which I must say I am representing quite well this morning. Before I get into my speech, I would like to thank Geccu for their sponsorship to carry out this project. I truly appreciate the opportunity to make a difference. The Purple Economy is one that includes care activities and services such as education, healthcare, and women's empowerment. This community service project would focus on women's empowerment, as I think that this topic is of importance and holds the ability to reroute lives, spark ambitious futures, and to rebuild our women's confidence, and may I say, their well-deserved egos. As a contestant in this year's Miss St. Vincent and the Grenadines pageant, I feel as though it is my duty to remind and to stand alongside our women to inspire them that equality is deserving and equality is ours. Gone are the days when women would stay at home and mind the household while men go out and do the heavy duty. The world is now woke, but like all habits die hard, so do all beliefs. Women are resilient, women are strong, women are game changers. The proposed solution of this project is to raise awareness and to promote a healthy mindset when it comes to women's empowerment. This project would include female farmers and female entrepreneurs of small businesses and a collaboration with Country Meets Town. The proposed week of completion is the week of the 4th to the 8th of September. During this week, a series of activities will be conducted. I birth to you the Lilac Legacy, a movement, a motion, and like the lilac flower, this project aims for happiness, tranquility, love, and passion. The first activity on Monday 4th would be meeting with independent women in Mariquah, our farmers and business owners. I would use this time to educate my neighboring women about the importance of my project and the impact I would love for it to have on our dear community. The second activity would be Tuesday 5th. and run over the course of 2 days. This would entail visitations to the farms and small businesses, walking alongside and learning from these women. I want to be exposed to their grind, to their hardship, so that I can use this knowledge to influence other women. The third activity would be on the 7th of September. This would be a day of recognition for our women, farmers and business owners alike. A seminar entitled I Am Woman would be held, and various speakers would be present to share their experiences as well as offering tips to our women, how to hone your natural talents and make a living from such. The fourth activity on the 8th of September would be where a market is formed for these women to showcase their products, produce, and services. Be sure to come out in your numbers as you are all invited. The expected impact of this project is to create a disturbance to the norm, to push our women to become their own keepers, own bosses, and to influence our younger girls to be independent. This project aims to ensure that women are seen, to ensure that women are knowledgeable, and to provide a guide or help for women who seek and desire to start their own businesses. Female farmers who rise early to reap the soil, I see you. Female entrepreneurs who sleep late to perfect business plans, I see you. And the world will now see you too through the Lilac Legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Raisha. I know you had quite a mouthful this morning, and it's quite a number of activities. And within the next week, what we will do and what we're encouraging you to do as well is to follow each of the young ladies on social media, specifically Instagram, where they will post their schedule of activities, and the Miss SVG pageant page will also be posting the activities so you can follow along. So on a specific day, if you want to go to Barley, you want to go to Diamond, Lomans, Camden Park, Chateau Belair, Sion Hill, Chauncey, Barley again, and Mesopotamia, then you will be able to do so. Thank you very much, young ladies. At this time, we'd move to the next item on our program, which would be the presentation of the check from Geccu, and I will invite Mrs. Johnny to do so, along with our chairman, Mr. Ricardo Adams. And Mrs. Johnny did make mention of it in her speech earlier when she spoke about an increase in the number of, or the amount of, or the value of the sponsorship this year, which is reflective. I'm just going around so I can see. Yes. The Geccu has committed
Okay, half the people that say up and half that say down.
Okay, thank you very much. And now this brings us to the end of our program. I may be putting her on the spot, but I did mention earlier that we have our permanent secretary here with us. And as I said, she is always supportive of what we do, and I know we spoke before and she's just only here to support us in spirit, but it really would be remiss of me not to invite her to deliver some remarks, considering all that she has said.
Good morning, everyone. Please allow me to adopt the protocol already established earlier this morning. Thank you, Avia. But let this be a lesson to our contestants that sometimes you're called upon and you just have to deliver. I just want to express my profound gratitude, of course, to Geccu for your continued support of this pageant through the community engagement program. And I do note the increase. Thank you very much on behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture. As I often do, I do commend the Beauty Shows Committee. They do involve me from time to time, and I'm always willing to support our contestants. I know it's not easy, but when I look at you now, versus when I saw them at the very first time, I'm very much impressed. I must say that the presentations this morning were very educational. I know I'm thinking that persons who are here in the audience and persons who are viewing online would have learned quite a bit in terms of the various economies. And I do implore persons within the various communities to come out and support our young ladies. Please support them. I'm really, really impressed. If you know me, you know I don't speak for very long. So there you have it. Thank you all again for coming out. Thank you for your support and all the very best.
All right, thank you, PS. And that does bring us to the end of the launch of the Geccu Miss SVG Community Service Project for 2023, which will be held under the team created Herstory. All right, there are a few, what I would like to thank quite a number of persons, which I will do now. Firstly, thank you to Geccu for their renewal in terms of their sponsorship and their recommittal to the projects this year. And not just only to the projects this year, but for their continuous support of those from last year. I think it really is testimony of what would happen even after Miss SVG 2023. So we do look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much to the Permanent Secretary, RPS, Dr. Risa Noel McBarnett, in the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture. Thank you to the PS, Marissa French-Burke, in the Ministry of National Mobilization, Social Development, Gender Affairs, Family Affairs, Housing and Informal Settlement. Thank you to the management and staff of the La View Boutique Hotel, who is a major sponsor in this year's Miss SVG pageant. The La View Boutique Hotel is actually dubbed the home of Miss SVG 2023. Thank you to the chairman of our board, Mr. Ricardo Adams, and the staff of the Carnival Development Corporation. Thank you to our judges who graciously graced us with their presence this morning. Miss SVG 2022, Jada Ross, Miss Shannon John, the winner of the Community Service Project 2022. Our sponsors, Miss SVG 2023 contestants, I do sincerely wish you all the best in the coming weeks, not only during the execution of your project, but leading up to the night of October 7th. Thank you to the resource persons who have committed their time and their energies into your projects, and to your chaperones as well for being a pillar of strength, because I know that you need that during this time. The members of the media who took time out to be here today to cover this event, thank you so very much. Specially invited guests, thank you as well for being here with us. And they would really be remiss of me not to thank the members of the Beauty Shows Committee who are physically here and who are watching online, and a special recognition to Ms. Tamira Brown, who is the head of the Community Service Project, for as always investing a significant amount of time into this project and for preparing these young ladies as it relates to delivering their speeches today. Thank you.